So hello, beautiful tribe, and welcome to Magic Month of July. I am so excited. I don't think I've ever been so excited about a forecast on Magic Month. July is just, it's just goddess magic on full power. It's amazing. Sorry, as you can tell, I'm so excited I haven't even started the introduction. So hello everybody, my name is Karila and I am so grateful and so happy to be here this evening. I am from the Starlight Temple, and Starlight is a company that does all sorts of courses and ceremonies and travel that is about using channeled and spiritual tools to live more of you, to live more of your life, to live more of your power. And Magic Month is an energy forecast. Hi, yes, it is live. Magic Month is an energy forecast, and so it gives you a forecast of what is going on energetically, astrologically, in nature, in terms of ascension, so that you can use the information to know the best times in the month to heal, to manifest, so you can understand the processes that are happening to you and through you in the month, and use it to align and live more of your best life. And I have run Magic Month for years and years, and I don't think I've ever got as excited as I am about Magic Month of July 2022. Like, I am literally just like so thank you to those of you that are listening live. Please do let me know that you can hear and see and that the technology is working correctly. Please do co-create this webinar with me. I love my webinars to be co-creative, so please share your own guidance, your own expression, and yeah, gift yourself this webinar. The forecast, the astrology is so sacred. So I don't know if any of you watched Magic Month of June, but Magic Month of June was not so focused on the astrology. It was all about what was kind of going on a magnetic level and energetically. And it's like we've swung the other way. July is like an astrological bouquet. It is amazing. I always like July astrologically and on a seasonal level. July is a very special month every year. And this month it is all about the goddess. It is all about progress. It is all about rebirth. It is all about magic and mystery and becoming more wild, and it's amazing. And so this is Magic Month. I'm really happy to be here. Let's begin with a meditation, mainly to calm me down, but hopefully to bring you all into a greater sense of presence. And so when you are ready, closing your eyes and feeling the muscles around your eyes relaxing. Just bring your hands to your heart. And as you bring your hands to your heart really feel and be held in this moment. As you consciously and actively hold your heart. Now that you are holding your love, as you let your love be held, as you let your love be held, as you let your love be held, notice that more of who you are, more of your truth, more of your breath, more of your peace and more of your aliveness is dropping in to this present moment. And as you drop in, you feel a beautiful white light from Source, filling this time and this space. Raising the vibration of everything that is circling around you, everything that is orbiting your heart right now. And in this light, feel your energy stretching out. As you feel your energy stretching out, notice that you are grounding, dropping deeper into the great gravitational holding of Mother Earth. And as you drop into this holding, this love, feel all of the colors and sweetnesses and songs and rhythms of Mother Earth. Supporting and surrounding you now. And with this support, this awareness of being surrounded by color and sweetness, by life, notice that your heart is being given permission to open more. And as your heart opens more fully, your aura becomes sealed in brighter light. You open your heart. You ask, why am I here? Why am I listening to Magic Monk this evening? You let the answer come in words, in pictures, in knowing, in sensation. Noticing what is unlocking within you. And that is what July is about. This is what my guides are saying now. It's a magical unlocking. And just breathe with that unlocking. And open your hearts to everyone you are sharing this webinar with now and in the future. Feeling their beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hearts opening to you. So that there is more color and more music and more rhythm and more sweetness surrounding you. As you feel all of the goddesses all that is the Sophia, that is the highest good of the Sophia of the feminine. Coming into this prayer and willingness for more support, for more life, for more love. So you're really feeling this support extending up into the sky, becoming part of the energetic. As you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude, breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. And when you are ready, opening your eyes and coming in to the room, noticing how you're feeling. I would love to hear from any of you about how you're feeling, about what your heart said as to why you're here, as to why you're called to Magic Month of July. And like I said, July, it's funny what is going on the collective, because what is going on in the astrology is like the polarity or the opposite. July is all about the power of the goddess. It's just amazing. And it's so sexy. It's so Kundalini. July is always like that. Like I always say that July is in many ways the most feminine month of the year. It's really, even in nature in the northern hemisphere, it's all about reproductivity, like it's when like the Gaia is like in that moment of Magdalene into, yeah, the kind of height of the Magdalene power, and everything's reproducing. You know, I was at yin yoga before I came to do Magic Month, and it's like there were all these baby seagulls outside. Like all of nature is like making love and making the future happen in July, and all the flowers, and it's just yeah, it's total divine creativity every July. It's also the start of the lunar cycle, and it is when the feminine cycle of the year rebirths itself in our consciousness, in nature, in astrology, in the sky. And so there is this, every July there is this amazing like rebirth potential in July. And oh, beautiful to read all of the things. I love that you're dancing naked, wild naked living room dancing. That's awesome. But this July, the astrology is just like super feminine. Like everything about it is super feminine. It's really, really amazing. So let's begin. We begin the first so in a way we've kind of entered July, you know, we're the new moon and all of that kind of sensitivity and power and emotion of the moon has started to bring in these beautiful July energies. And what happens, the first really important dates are the 4th and 5th of July, because that is when the Sirius portal is at its peak. That happens every year. The Sirius portal is it's when Sirius, the actual star of Sirius, is like really bright in our sky. And what it means is that our, you know, Sirius is considered by most of the most spiritual and ancient cultures like Egypt to be our spiritual sun. And so in a way it's like the sun of our spirit. And so in the Sirius portal, this is when our spirit recharges. This is when our spirit, which is also our life force energy, which is also our sexual energy, like plugs in and it recharges its batteries. And so with it comes all of these amazing opportunities and just a general sense of liberation. It's an amazing time to receive downloads. It's an amazing time to activate your path, to tune into your path. When I was tuning into the Sirius portal this year, so some of you will have heard me say on Magic Month that this year 2022 is an incredible year because there is so much chaos energy. And I don't know if you guys have felt this, but like for me, like this year, it's like you have an idea, you start a project, then you're off to something else. And it's just like there is so much chaos energy and almost nothing is properly landing. And what my guides have said all about that is that, like, in a way, we've been trying loads of stuff on for our future, a bit like when you're getting ready to go out and you're trying on loads of different clothes. And what I saw was that, like, the Sirius portal, if you are experiencing that, definitely connect to the Sirius portal, get into meditation with the Sirius portal, call the Syrians, like, or any guides that resonate with you, and really, or your higher self, and really ask for like clarity, because it's in that Sirius portal that you can kind of finally decide what outfit you're gonna wear. And yeah, it's just gonna be one of those upgrade times. It is anyway, but it feels particularly so for anybody that kind of makes a decision that goes, okay, no, this is actually what I really, really want, and chooses to sit in that portal and chooses to receive. Remember, July is feminine, so everything is about receiving, not doing. And yeah, this is a really, really powerful time to upgrade. Very, very powerful time to channel, to be in ceremony, to stream consciousness, write your higher self, to make a commitment for your path, to, yeah, and to do any rest practices, actually, because it is about recharging. So any Kundalini practices or rest practices that allow for recharging, that is amazing. And amazing about the Mars and that alignment. I don't think I knew about that happening as well, so thank you for sharing that, Manu. And so that's the Sirius portal. And, you know, some of you will have heard me say many times on Magic Month that, like, what a month starts with, like the first astrological thing of the month, often sets the scene for the whole month. So what I love about this, Sirius, it's like higher self, ascended self, spiritual upgrade. Portal is womb. Clarity and chaos is feminine magic. All of that stuff is happening at the start of the month. So that is the stage set for July. Then straight after that, on the 7/7, which numerologic, the double numbers always have power to them numerologically. So on the 7/7 gateway, Vesta, who, and as I've said that, my guides have just gone, yeah, 7/7 is, it's like an embodiment of that Sirius portal into the 7 chakras. So that upgrade that you call in on the 4th and 5th, down into the 7 chakras, into embodiment. And that makes so much sense at the same time with this alignment, because Goddess Vesta, as the asteroid, is going retrograde. And again, some of you will have heard me talk about retrograde. Retrograde in astrology is when a planet appears as if it is going in a different direction to the way it normally goes. And what that means for us energetically is the planets and the asteroids, they rule aspects of our consciousness. And the guys are actually saying that asteroids in particular rule our identity and our story. And so, and they rule different aspects of that identity and story. And so when they're going in the opposite way, what it means is whatever they're ruling within us, in the same way that the moon controls like the flow of the tides, it's like the flow of our consciousness goes in the opposite way, and it goes inwards when it's retrograding. And so what's really important to understand is the story of Vesta. Who is Vesta when she is going retrograde? Vesta is the goddess of hearth and heart, and she's the goddess of hearth and home. She's also like the representation of the sacred flame. That's her symbol. And this flame, you know, it's like the flame of the hearth. So within us, that is our life force energy. That is our passion. That is the sparkle in our eye. It is our spirit energy, our life force energy. And she represents very much, you know, boundaries, sacred home space, and also sexual liberation and freedom and expression. And so her going retrograde, it really is about us coming home to ourselves. This time of Vesta retrograde is about us cultivating and tending to our inner flames. You know, tending to the sacred boundary, how we are looking after our inner half, how are we treating our energy as sacred? Are we living in passion, which is purpose and pleasure, being the same thing, being in one flow? Is our power coming from the heart of ourselves? And so, you know, her going retrograde on the 7/7 means, and at the start of the month as well, you know, I feel like the first 7 days of the month, it's on the 7th she begins her retrograde. Her going retrograde on the 7th really, and she's the first of so much goddess action that happens this month astrologically. It's really, you know, telling you the key. The key is to tend to your sexual life force energy this month. This is the key. Go in. And what's coming through in quite a strict way is do not, you know, there is also this thing of like, treat your life force as sacred. This is not a time to be not being sacred with your life force energy, with your sexual energy. And then on the 13th, so 13 is the number of the feminine, because there are 13 moons in the year. So 13 represents the feminine and the moon and the lunar cycle. On the 13th of July, which is the most feminine month of the year, we have the super full moon. And a super moon is when the moon is it's closer to Earth, and so it appears larger, and so everything that the moon is about is magnified. It's like it's literally a super moon, and of course the moon and lunar and all of that is deeply feminine, and it's happening on the 13th, and it's super. And so it's just like, once again, the sky is going, yeah, the goddess. You know, yeah, the goddess is here, and the goddess is big, and the goddess is in charge. And not in charge in a patriarchal way, but in charge of the cycles of change, in charge of the cycles of life. And it's full moon in Cancer. And so because it's a super moon, we have to think about what Cancer is all about. And Cancer is, of course, emotion and water. And so you can fully expect that around this moon, you're going to be feeling emotional. And in the run up to this moon, you're going to be feeling emotional because it's Cancer moon. But it's also, you know, what happens when our emotions get really amplified and get really, really big is we cannot ignore them anymore. It's like we have to hear our truth when our emotions are literally singing it and shouting it and doing Cancerian opera. we will know what the truth is. And also, of course, because Cancer is so watery and emotions are so watery, there's also this incredible energy of flow. So this is an amazing time to call in flow. It's an amazing time to do any kind of emotional healing, inner work, resonance healing, to invite in more trust, more flow. It's a fabulous, it really is one of those times where anything that's feeling stuck in your life or stagnant to come back into flow. It's a really positive moon astrologically. There's wonderful astrology with it. There's more goddess astrology with it. So Venus is trine with Saturn, and so Venus is like love and sensuality and sexuality and beauty and feminine power. Again, a trine in astrology is like considered the best of the aspects in many ways. It's when planets are like 120 degrees, and it's like when they're like energies combine perfectly. And, you know, Saturn is law and order. And so again, it's like the goddess is in charge. That's what's being said on this full moon, you know? And that means, you know, that doesn't mean that there is going to be a goddess that comes down and takes over. What it means is the principles of the feminine are the way to take charge. The principles of the feminine way, which is space and flow and nurture and all of those cycle, birth, creational principles are in charge. And that means that is the way. If you try and do this from your masculine, it's not gonna flow this month. Like, all of us have to do as much as we can to remind ourselves of the ways of the feminine, because we have all been brought up in a very, very patriarchal society. So our nature is to like push, and sometimes that works, but like the sky, and you know, I know some of you are like doing what I'm doing, which is like, oh my gosh, like what's happened in America, and it's like the sky is just like no, you know. And so the goddess is in charge, and that means that the goddess is in charge in you. And so you have to drop into receiving and not pushing, into creating rather than manifesting, into spaciousness and flowfulness. And also, so on top of that, Venus being trine Saturn, Ceres, which I never quite know how to say, Ceres, is trine Neptune. And Ceres is the goddess of the corn. She represents, yeah, like the agriculture, the corn, abundance. And she's trine Neptune, which is dreams. You know, Neptune is like our dream state, our spirituality. Again, there's this spiritual awakening this month. And it's like Neptune is our dream state, our spirituality, our kind of higher consciousness, our purpose in dream soul form. And so again, feminine is trining with this. It's like these, you know, if what the map of the sky is saying is like, yes, you're going to be emotional. Anything that's out of alignment, you are going to feel so loudly. Anything that's not flowing, you're going to feel. But if you surrender out of the ways that you're blocking it and into the way of Venus, you will find the law, the LORE, that can create the abundance of the dream, that can create the midsummer dream, that can birth, you know, that is beyond science, beyond magic, that is creation. And you will have this breakthrough. And so this moon is amazing to manifest, and manifest big. It's a super moon. It's also an amazing, you know, time to be in the flow. To be in the flow and, you know, go on conscious walks. Be like, universe, okay, I'm not going to go with any direction. Just send me signs. That kind of thing. Higher self walking, flowing, going on intuition and instinct. Letting go of what you think you want and just being like, okay, show me, you know, and then manifesting from that real, open, amazing place. And yeah, so it's fabulous for flowing, for asking. Asking is coming through really strongly because asking enough often is the beginning of receiving. And our receptivity is everything this month. Because if you don't come into that receptivity, then your inner goddess is not in charge and you're not in alignment with the sky. And then on the 19th, so as we get towards the middle of the month, we have another retrograde. This often happens in July. We start to get loads of retrograding starting to happen. And that's because the feminine way is to go in. So this is another point I want to make, is that, you know, because there is so much feminine energy astrologically, often people don't like retrograde because our kind of masculine way doesn't like retrograde because it's forward motion, the masculine. Whereas actually, if you surrender to the feminine way, then like the retrograde is just, there's no resistance. It's just you surrendering into that power of going in, of creating out of going in rather than creating out of pushing forward. And both are valuable. It's just doing the right one at the right time. And so you can really enjoy and pleasure in these retrogrades. Go to ceremony, go to give longer to your meditation practice, just do stuff that allows you to really indulge the retrogrades, because that is the goddess way, you know, it's not to resist them. And so on the 19th, we have a really important retrograde. This retrograde is from 19th of July to the 23rd of December, and it's Chiron. And Chiron is the asteroid that to me is so important to know what's going on with him. So there's all sorts of ceremony. I will answer questions. Remind me of that question at the end, but you know, look up cacao ceremony, look up fire ceremony, look up just what ceremonies are local to you, sound baths, anything. A ceremony is doing anything with intention. So anything that holds begins with intention is essentially ceremony. But yeah, cacao, sound baths, fire ceremonies, sweat lodges, all of that stuff. Sweat lodges are particularly great for July. Because sweat lodges represent the womb. So they're a really great ceremony to do in general, and in fact to do on the 19th. So Chiron is going retrograde on the 19th. And Chiron in astrology is the wounded healer. And so the healer that never fully heals themselves, that's what Chiron is. It's represented by a centaur, but to me, Chiron, you know, the wounded healers of Mother Earth are humanity. We are the ones that walk around this planet with all of the healing and all of the wounds. And so Chiron to me really represents humanity and our humanness and who we are, especially us that at this time, because we are really, you know, all here to heal ourselves mainly. And so when Chiron goes retrograde, it's like the wind journey that you have been on since Chiron was in retrograde last year. Like, as you can see, it's a huge chunk of time that Chiron retrograde, like July till December this year. So it's not quite half, but it's almost half of the year. And so what the guides are showing me right now is it's like, You know, you should be feeling pretty like, especially if you've done the work, like that you're at the end of a wound cycle, like lots of wounds are healed within you, and you should be feeling those rewards and those blessings and feeling like you're at the end of a healing journey, and you should be celebrating that. It's the key to Chiron, is to celebrate, you know, not to be upset that we never stop healing. Like my guides are like, if you stop healing, you fall off the universe. Like we are always growing, we are always healing, we are always learning, we are always evolving. But be in the celebration, especially in those moments, and especially, you know, in these first kind of few weeks of July, be in the celebration of everything, of how far you've come, everything you've healed. I mean, how amazing is this time where we're like going through wounds so quickly and healing karma, and you know, so much is changing so quickly all the time because we're in this ascension process. And then Chiron going retrograde, it's like the next round of the wounds, the next wound journey is coming in, and it just means that until December 23rd, it's really powerful to do the inner work. It means it's more powerful to do your inner work than not to, basically. And so this is the time to really go deep, to really, you know, go deep. And because it's going retrograde, and it's like the only thing that in a way isn't like deeply feminine about this month, right in the middle of this month, that is so feminine and so goddess, you know, to me, what that represents is like anything that we heal, it will be death, because it's starting in the energy of birth, and death and birth are the same thing. And so it's so epic to do inner work at any time because of the alignment of Chiron retrograde. This time it's going to be all of the healing work that happens between now and the 23rd of December. I just know it's going to be that death and rebirth style healing, that like absolutely it's going to be cleared. And so the 19th is a very powerful time to be tuning in about what you want to heal next. You know, what's the next round in what's the next thing you want to take on and heal and change. And I'll tell you what, the invitation very much from the collective and the sky is, how about taking on the wounds of the shadow of the patriarchy? You know what, when you don't know what to take on, look at what's going on in the world, especially if it is in contrast to what is happening in the map of the sky. And I'll give you this little nugget that came out of a community time I was doing, where, you know, the people were asking the guides about what to do when something happens on the collective consciousness or the collective level that lowers your vibration. And one of the things the guide said that I just thought was so profound and so important was, they were like, you know, look, don't just do A or B, black and white, good and bad, this is happening. There is always option C, which is to think of a better version, a better reality than the A and B options. And as they were explaining that, and we were talking about what's gone on with abortion in America, as they were explaining that, they were like, you know, if you don't want to, you know, live in a, you know, there's A and B, which is abortion is legal or abortion is not legal. And then they were like, but what if there's a whole other reality, which is that actually everybody's in charge of their own bodies. And then they went on to talk about abuse, and they were like, well, what if abuse is something that doesn't exist anymore? Can you imagine that reality? Can you open up to that reality? Can you begin to call that in? And they went into loads of other detail about not spiritually bypassing or overindulging and everything like that. But the point that was most profound to me was they were like, any body that doesn't want to live in a world where human bodies are abused, they've got to stop abusing their own bodies. Like, you can't look in the mirror and be verbally abusive to yourself and then expect to live in a world where there isn't abuse happening. And so that, the way you're speaking to yourself is a fabulous wound to work on. A really sacred wound to work on, if it resonates. What if your next Chiron retrograde is about not hating yourself and abusing yourself? Or what if it's about not being so controlling of yourself, if you don't want to live in a world that feels so controlling? And that is the key to Chiron retrograde. You know, what's going on outside? How am I doing that to myself? Does that make sense? And then we continue with this incredible goddess unraveling of the skies, because then on the 22nd we have Mary Magdalene's feast day. And yeah, man in the mirror. A few people have said that to me since that advice. Michael Jackson had it. So we have Mary Magdalene's feast day. And Mary Magdalene, you know, her story is the story of the collective feminine. It just is. She was the Christ consciousness in female form. She was the energetic wife of Jeshua. And then through the Piscean age, she became completely persecuted, dismantled, all sorts of things. And now, a few years ago, she was made an apostle again. And so her story is the story of the fall and the rise of the feminine. And so Mary Magdalene's feast day is deeply important to the feminine. And from my guidance, that is actually when the feminine cycle is reborn. And so that is when the feminine cycle yeah, you're right about the Sirius Gateway opening for 40 days, but the peak of it is the 4th and the 5th. So it does stay open, but the peak, which is the most important part, is the 4th and the 5th. And so, yeah, the feast day is the day that the feminine cycle within ourselves is born, according to my guides. And it's also the day this year that Leo season begins. So we have this lioness energy. So, you know, Mary Magdalene is very much about sexual energy and life force energy sovereignty. Leo is about sovereignty. We also have Ceres again. And Ceres, because she's corn, she's really about the energy of nourishment and prioritizing self-care. So we have these themes of boundaries, of grain, of so much sunlight, but like sunlight coming into the feminine, sunlight coming into the self, sunlight, you know, the sun is conjunct with Ceres. And so it's like the truth and the grain You know, is your abundant reality showing your self-care and your boundaries? That stuff's going to be really highlighted this month because of that sun being conjunct with Ceres. In a way, it's nice because this month one of the things about the feminine, and especially what the astrological map is showing, is like, is the sacredness embodied? Is the worthiness embodied? Is it being reflected in the map of your life? That's other stuff to work on if it's not. That's other stuff to take into retrograde if it's not. And so every year, the cycle... So if you think of like the cycle being reborn is like the new year of the feminine cycle. So it's when like the new journey begins again. So every cycle has its like beginning, and the beginning of the feminine collective cycle is Mary Magdalene's feast day. It's also the beginning of the cycle of nature in many ways, because it's when like so much of nature is actually in kind of its reproductive state, in its beginning state, if that makes sense. And so yeah, it's like the new year for the feminine energies is the best way to describe it. And because the sun is conjunct with Ceres, think how relevant this is to collective. The sun is like the truth, Ceres is the grain. And so what's happening is that which is not true, like the abundance is starting to malform, and then that which is really true and really of essence and really aligned is thriving. And that's happening on a collective level, and it's suggesting that it's going to keep happening throughout the new cycle. And she's Ceres is like really highly feminine, rules over things like fertility and farming and like feminine abundance, you know, true agriculture, which is working with the cycles of nature, not forcing them. And when I tune into all of this, it's like this new cycle is about coming into greater sovereignty, greater boundaries, greater sexual power, greater feminine way of abundance. It feels like a total activation of what the Amrita is. The Amrita is the like feminine ability to create out of space, out of nothing, out of not pushing, but out of holding sacred space. And so and out of pleasure. And so it feels like coming into the collective Magdalene is more of that Amrita power. That's what the sky is saying. Every year we have a course called Call of the Magdalene, and it blows my mind because it works with the feast day and the week of the feast day, basically, to manifest your path cycle. And literally every single year when I do this like 8-day ceremonial journey, what I do in that 8 days becomes my entire year. My entire year. And I never, ever realize it until it comes back round to this time of year. And then I'm like, oh, that's what I was working on. And I see the entire year and how it all happened. Whatever intention I put in, it becomes my entire path cycle for the year. And it's happened for years. And I'm very, very excited about Call of the Magdalene, because we're doing it differently this time. It's going to be more available. It's basically going to be by donation, but I'll talk about that in a bit more detail once we're through the forecast. But so that's how powerful that feast day time is. And it also aligns with the start of the Mayan. So the new year of the Mayan calendar is like the death and rebirth in the Mayan calendar is the 25th of July and the 26th of July. And funnily enough, the Call of the Magdalene ends on the 25th of July, so it takes you right into that death and rebirth of the Mayan calendar. Yeah, total time for creative dream revealing. That is absolutely what it's for. And so on the 25th of July, sorry, like the last week of July is epic. Okay, do not go anywhere. You have got to listen to this. So on the 25th of July, we have what is called in the Maya calendar the day out of time portal. It is literally the place where all and nothing exists simultaneously. And it's where the 13 moon calendar and the solar year realign. It is basically the space that sparks that Amrita magic. You know, it's such a magical day. And then the new cycle in the Mayan calendar begins on the 26th of July. And what we have on the 25th, which is this day out of time, is Juno, another goddess asteroid. I know, it's so epic, right? Juno, this other goddess asteroid, goes retrograde on the 25th. and she is like the queen of heaven. Juno is the queen of heaven. She represents marriage and relationship. When she's going retrograde, this is about relationship with yourself. And she also represents like feminine growth, feminine power. She also is all about abundance. You know, the word money, it actually comes from Manita, which is the surname of goddess Juno. It literally means watched over by the goddess. That's what money translates as. Watched over by goddess Juno, to be specific. And she is going retrograde. So like, you know, this in a way, some of you will know there's been quite a lot of work done on that to prepare for like the return of Amrita consciousness to the feminine. But it feels like, you know, a lot kind of gets planted in the year before, and then this feels like it's like actually coming. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, this is like when all of that seeding work kind of comes into action, I guess, because Juno is going to go into the no-thingness, which is where the Amrita has to begin. And so, and like the no thing, the space that is the power of the womb, and the queen of heaven, the queen of the gods, is going in towards herself in the no thingness where everything is on this day. And this is happening inside of us. Like what happens in the astrological map, it also happens in our consciousness, in ourselves. And at the same time, Venus, that feminine energy again, is squared Jupiter. And a square is like a tension astrologically. It's like a muscling up. And what I read that as is the goddess is going, yeah, are you walking your path in service to Gaia? And in service doesn't just mean saying your service. It means, are you living as the goddess, whether you are male or female or priesty? Are you living with the cycles and the flows and the listening and the magic? Because if you're not, it's time to let go of that stuff. Are you living with the trust? If Gaia is anything, she is a manifestation of trust. And so this is the way to, you know, like the sky is just like, okay, we're going to spell it out for you. Like, I'm going to spell it all out for you. And then check this out. So after all of that, after Juno going retrograde, you know, which is really an opportunity to rebirth your abundance, and this new cycle is going to be about rebirthing into feminine abundance, cyclical abundance, creation. It also means letting go of patriarchal abundance. in order to come into this new way of abundance. And then on the 26th, so what to do on that time? For me, on the 25th, ceremony. Like, I feel like once you're dealing with death and rebirth, the most powerful thing to do is ceremony. Or a ceremonial journey towards it, a ceremony on it, whatever feels right, whether it's personal ceremony, group ceremony, online ceremony. My feeling is the only thing that can speak the language of death and rebirth truly is our first language, which is the language of symbolism, which is the language of ceremony. And that is also the way of the goddess. Like, the way of the goddess is that, like, high ceremonial way. If you think of how ceremonial nature is, it's like ceremony is important this month. And ceremony can be as simple as setting intention. Or you can go for gold and, you know, take loads of medicine, go into a sweat lodge, do a fire ceremony. I think Starlight will do a fire ceremony that day. This is like Starlight Temple, like, you know, these kind of high feminine stuff. That's really what we specialize in. Labyrinth ceremony, exactly. But yeah, my call is to do a fire and rose ceremony. And so I'll probably be holding that online. And also it's when the call of the Magdalene ends. So that's my ceremony. But whatever calls you, it's right for you, you know. But anything that is about transformation, fire is great because, you know, we started with Vesta. It's all about fire and life force energy and so on. This fire ceremony will be online, my fire ceremony. So you can do it anywhere in the world. And I haven't quite decided yet. I need to check in with the guys. But then on the 26th, Venus is going to be conjunct with Black Moon Lilith. So like some of you that have like watched Magic Month will know why I'm like basically having an astrological orgasm. Like, because it's just like, if you think this month couldn't get any more goddess, and then it does. Like, Venus, we know what Venus represents. She's the goddess. Black Moon Lilith in astrology is like the dark feminine. She is the feminine that, like, so in the Bible, Lilith is the first wife of Adam, and she basically refused to submit to Adam, and so then he like left her and married Eve. But so Lilith represents the feminine that like will not be controlled, the feminine that will not be owned, the feminine that will not be bought, the feminine, like, she is like the sheer power of the feminine. She is that midnight goddess energy of the feminine. And on the first day of the new cycle in the Mayan calendar, the first day of the lunar cycle, on the kind of day of the new Magdalene cycle, Venus is conjunct with Black Moon Lilith. And yeah, it's like a Shakti energy and life force energy. Like, when I'm tuning into it, I'm just like, the feminine is like roaring. Do you know what I mean? And the feminine is just like, yeah, taking charge within us. And so what does this conjunction look like for us? It's so what Lilith is brilliant at is anything that is under the rug, anything that's in hiding comes out into the open. We know exactly. She's brilliant at like helping you take your ground, take your stand, know who you are, own yourself. And these two coming together, you know, it's going to bring out like women's health issues and gender inequalities. It's already happening. Like, But this is the moment that it's like, actually, no, we're not going to ignore this, and we're not going to let this happen. And, you know, and so it does feel like volcanic. And actually, this month feels volcanic all the way through. Like any Kundalini practice you can do for your abundance, for your health, for anything that feels blocked in your life, that build up of energy. I'll show you something you can do at the end of this that will help your month so much. I'll do it right at the end. So yeah, Venus is conjunct with Black Moon Lilith. This is, the time is now for, in a way, Venus being conjunct with Black Moon Lilith, what is being shown to me when I'm tuning in, it's like when a woman is giving birth. And you know, at first she's getting all of this guidance and all of this support. And then there is this moment where she like goes into like the animal self. And, you know, every doula and midwife I know is like, the husbands are always really freaked out when that happens, because it's like suddenly like she knows exactly what she needs, what she wants, what she needs to do. That's what that Venus conjunct with Black Moon Lilith is. It's like, I know what I need to do. I don't need to ask for support or get the system to tell me. Like, I'm just gonna like go into that animal state. And then on the 28th, new moon in Leo. And so we have, again, this, you know, Leo's all about sovereignty. It's a really positive new moon. It's all about lightness. It's all about making time for things that fulfill you. It's about fulfillment. And a really, really positive moon for manifesting. On the same day, Jupiter is going retrograde. And so Jupiter is the planet of abundance, and it's the planet of abundance and expansion and path. And so Jupiter starts retrograde in Aries, and then during its retrograde, will make its way back to Pisces. Jupiter loves being in Pisces, and Jupiter will not be in Pisces again for 12 more years. And so this final bit of Pisces, Jupiter is going to make sure the harvest comes. Like, all of the gifts and blessings of Jupiter and Pisces are going to flow through. If you're doing all of this inner work, if you're opening up to this fierce feminine, whether you are male or female or priesty, this isn't about women. This is about the feminine way. Then all of those blessings of Jupiter in Pisces by the end of the year can start flowing through you, which is all about intuition and compassion and beautiful, dreamlike, mystical, magical path. And what the Jupiter in Aries is about, what I feel is about leadership. And, you know, really stepping into your leadership. And leadership in many ways is integrity. So to me, this new moon, like, if you want to do something, it's like manifest greater integrity. This Jupiter retrograde, ask for the Jupiter retrograde to literally carry you into a greater state of integrity. More of your head, your heart, and your belly aligned. Because that's where those rewards of so like Aries and Jupiter are best when you're in integrity. That's when it all, you know, that's when the fire of Aries can become the fire of a revolution, of a great leadership, of a way shower. And then Pisces and Jupiter is like total faith. It's like being able to manifest on prayer and really believe it and really trust it. And so it's like, if you can come into integrity and really trust yourself, then by the end of the retrograde, you will be able to really trust the prayer of your path. and so much expansion and so many blessings come. And so it's a really great moon for journaling about integrity, for maybe understanding out of all of those things you've tried on in the first part of the year what actually isn't in alignment. It's a powerful moon to let go. It's a powerful moon to connect deep, 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 deep into yourself, into your center. And then, drum roll, please. So retrogrades happen every year. Like, every year retrogrades happen. We have retrogrades are like night and day, like with summer and winter. We always have a season of the planets, the bigger planets retrograding. Some of the smaller planets don't retrograde every year, but we always get a Jupiter retrograde. But it's not about being, in a way, like it's our patriarchal conditioned selves that don't like the retrograde, because the retrograde time is the feminine time. So Jupiter in retrograde is the time to be feminine about our paths rather than be actiony about our paths. And then on the 31st, drum roll, please. Because I haven't actually finished doing the forecast of this month yet. On the 31st, the sun is trine Jupiter. Okay? So remember, trine is like the best aspect. The sun is truth. Jupiter is expansion and abundance. But at the same time as that, so that is like total awakening, like it's enlightenment. The sun trining Jupiter is you becoming the enlightened version. But even more special and amazing than that is that Uranus, which is the planet of revolution and change, and the North Node and Mars. So the North Node is destiny. It's about like your highest potential, your highest destiny. And Mars, which is the warrior energy, are coming together at the same time that the sun is trying Jupiter. This is like an astrological, like total awakening. And what's even more amazing is Uranus and the North Nodes have never come together before, not in our lifetimes, but also there is no astrological record of this happening. And so there is no astrological record of this happening. All astrology, everything that astrologers know, is based on them looking up what happened the last time this happened in the sky. And so this is like total mystery. It is total mystery energy. It is like cosmic mystery. And mystery is total beginning. It is total feminine energy. It is total Amrita energy. And yeah, it's got the potential, because it's totally new. I feel like it has the potential for like a huge unlocking. You know what the guides were saying about like unlocking and like unlocking our greatest path potential. Connect to your higher self on that day. Like, ask for a better vision of yourself. Ask for option C. The North Nodes and Uranus and Mars, there is all quite a Kundalini energy to them. Like Mars is like the charge forward, the rainbow warrior. Uranus is quite Kundalini. There's sexual energy through this entire month. I feel like this is potentially like one of those days that triggers like another awakening. and awakening into our higher destiny. It is a portal to higher destiny. It is going to feel so unstable and unsettling because that's Uranus energy, and it is going to be so charged because that is Mars energy. But it's the push, you know what this is, and I didn't think of this before, but I have said for some time that actually the final part of birth goes from feminine to masculine, because actually when the push happens, that's when that masculine energy comes in, when the actual final bit of the birth, not when the woman is doing the like wild moment that she's having, the Black Moon Lilith moment, but when it actually goes into the push, it actually becomes quite a masculine energy again. This month, and it's totally in the mystery, and it's totally about a soul coming in, something higher coming in and changing everything. This whole month, literally astrologically, is a picture of giving birth. And absolutely there is this incredible potential on that day. Like, it's mystery energy. So the greatest potential energy always is mystery. So when there's infinite possibilities, it is very important that you're aligned that day. Do not do anything that makes you feel tired, drained, closes your heart. Be where you want to be open-hearted, be true to you, be fierce, and be boundaried. My guides say that, like, connect to the earth because it's mystery energy. Definitely you should be in nature at least for some of the day. Definitely it feels as well like it's not a day to be doing like big ceremony with lots of other people. It's more a day to be like connecting, to you. Like the North Nodes, they're about you, like your potential, like your sovereignty, your destiny. And definitely connect to the earth, because when a volcano goes off, the people that survive it are the ones that are listening to the earth, the ones that are heart to heart with the earth. And so, connect to the earth, be in ceremony with the earth, listen to yourself, be true, be sovereign. How epic is this month? Like, how amazing is this month? And I want to give you the practice, and I want to tell you about all of Starlight's offerings. I'm sorry this forecast is so long, but like, there was so much to explain. But yeah, it's definitely like a month to birth into more of your potential, especially if you work with it, especially if you work with those dates. So what can I help you with? And then we'll pull card of the month, and then I will show you the really amazing Kundalini practice. So the first thing I really want to tell you about is the Call of the Magdalene. The Call of the Magdalene is by donation this year. It is, I don't know if we will ever put it on by donation again, but this year my guides were like, it's by donation, and I was like, I don't know about that. Like, because I love doing stuff by donation, but like the Call of the Magdalene is my baby, and I'm like, I can't, like, there was part of me that was like, I don't want people there that aren't fully committed to it. Like, it's my baby. And then after what happened in the Lost case in America, like my whole inner just shifted, and I was like, no, if choice is being taken away from women, then we as women are gonna give ourselves more choice. And so the Call of the Magdalene is by choice and for choice this year. And it might only be this year, I don't know. Please do only sign up if you're committed, because it is a sacred journey. You do need to finish it. And it, this year with everything going on, is going to be so powerful and prepare you so beautifully for that 31st of January. For those of you that many priesty women have done Call of the Magdalene. And actually last year we had a man that really wanted to work with his feminine, and so anybody that is willing to work with their feminine but come in respect of it being a feminine temple is welcome, but everybody must come in respect in every sense. So there's that. Then straight after the Call of the Magdalene, so as you can see, feminine way is so important. On the new moon, manifesting on your cycle is beginning, and you can open all of these as tabs, by the way. So manifesting on your cycle is beginning, which literally teaches you to manifest in the way of the feminine. So it teaches you to use your feminine cycle to manifest. And we put it on earlier this year, and it was one of the 2 best things I've done ever this year. Like, it was, and ever, you know, like, it's completely transformed my relationship with my body. It's made me so much better at manifesting. And it's not me asking the universe for anything. It's me using the creative power of my cycle to manifest. And it's just magic and amazing. And so that's going to be on again to teach another circle of women how to reclaim the power of their womb, which feels so important and relevant right now and so in alignment. The other best thing that I have done for myself, possibly one of the best things I've ever done in my entire life, was working on my tiredness. And we did that in Revive a couple of months ago, and it was so life-changing, because your sexual life force energy, this thing that I've been talking about, it's not just your sex, it's not just your ability to have sex with another human being, it's your energy levels. And as you can see, like, our energy is so important right now. In fact, we need so much energy to be able to ascend. Working on your tiredness is really essential to your ascension. I believe everybody should be working on their tiredness. I believe 100% that, like, tiredness is the reason why we haven't ascended yet. And I only believe that after doing the work and realizing how much tiredness was ruining my life and stopping me from being who I'm meant to be. And so that course, we realized, needed to be available to everybody at all times. And basically, we need some people to test it, because we've never done that before. We've never done a course in this way before. And so we're doing a raffle. So some people will win an opportunity to do the tiredness course for free. And so if you want to join the raffle, you just click the link. We're announcing it on the 7/7, and do the instructions as guided, and you will be in a chance to win the trial of Revive, which, honestly, everybody needs to work on their tiredness. And I have never said that before, ever, but every human being in the West does. The only other 2 things I want to tell you about, and I'm telling you about them because it's just such an important time. You know, there's some times where what Starlight has on offer is lovely, but this next couple of months is when Starlight and what we do and what we specialize in, all of our womb stuff and feminine stuff, and like, it's really relevant to this time. And so in August, we're doing a course in boundaries. And I feel like, yeah, I've never ever had so much magic around a course before. It's like there's so much of nature is coming into that course and just being like, we're going to show you how to live on this earth. Yeah, boundaries are so important right now. They're so important. That this feminine power that's awakening, it cannot awaken through you unless your boundaries are better than what they have been, because it's too powerful. Only when you can hold space for it can it come through you. And then you will be unstoppable. Then you will be that black moon, Lilith, Uranus, Mars, North Node being, Amrita being. But first you have to be able to hold these universal forces with fierce grace. And so that's the boundaries course. That's starting in August. That is the only other course we are running this summer. So Call of the Magdalene is like a 8-day journey. The manifesting on your cycle is like a long, very journey that you can do alongside other stuff. It goes over like 3 months nearly. And then boundaries is the only actual course we are running this summer. And finally, the Starlight Sanctuary is our subscription service. There's amazing offerings in that really support ascension processes, including things like radical receptivity workshops. This month it's going to be on trust. That workshop will be available too, but you have to pay for it, whereas it's free for the sanctuary. There's all sorts of community time, Q&A with spirit. The daily practice from the sanctuary last month saved my ass. Like, if I hadn't had it, I don't know how I would have coped with the magnetic shifts. And so if you're feeling like you want to be supported, and the courses aren't calling you, then the sanctuary is there. So that is what Starlight Temple has on offer. The fire ceremony is not up yet, the one I mentioned, but it will be available if you sign up to our website. The boundaries is 6 weeks. So the boundaries is 6 weeks. I'm going to put Call of the Magdalene up again, because, you know, the time is now to respond ceremonially. It's like the powers that are pressing against us, they're not as powerful as our ceremony. Because there is nothing more powerful than a human being in ceremony. Because when a human being is in ceremony, they can bring through the forces of what's going on in the planets, in nature. They can be the volcano, the bee, the Jupiter, the Mars. That's what we are. We're the ones that have the ability to bring anything into ceremony. And so I really, and especially because that is feminine way, I really invite you, tune into the courses, feel into them, read about them, see what resonates, go do what your heart says. The sanctuary will have loads and loads of extra support stuff. If anything is really important, we will also send it out by our newsletter. The day out of time fire ceremony, if it happens that day, will be by donation. And I will send out anything that is helpful. I always do. You know, our newsletters spam you with stuff that, like, guides have said is useful for this time. So you are not on your own. We are doing it together. What I wanted to say was, so this came through in this ascension challenge that we did, and I feel like when I was tuning in for what, how can we prepare for that amazing 31st day and get through this month? And the answer was this particular practice. So some of you may have got it from the Ascension Challenge that we did. But what you do is you put your, so you need to make a triangle, basically. Do you see that? Like I've put these 3 fingers together and then made a triangle with my index finger, and then you make a circle with your thumbs. And this particular mudra, according to my guides, it's like the activation of the essence of the sexual energy, the triangle of life mudra. And you put it down at your belly, and you can do this now. Just try it. And as soon as you put it there, you will feel more centered. You will feel more connected to yourself. If you're being rocked around by retrogrades, just do this. You're only rocked around by retrogrades when you're not coming into your center. And then I want you to pulse. So what you do is the same squeeze that you do when you need to pee. Like when you need to pee and you hold your muscles at the base of your body together. You squeeze those muscles just like when you need to pee, but you do it like repeatedly. So you pulse those muscles. And as you do this, just connect to your life force energy, to your sexual energy. And keep the mudra in place and just pulse. And you'll feel that your life force energy is starting to build. And as your life force energy is building, you'll feel your body is getting warmer. Keep pulsing. And relax into it. Remember that if you're in pleasure, if you're in joy, there will be more energy coming. Keep pulsing. Keep pulsing. You're doing really, really well. And you'll feel this energy starting to build up in you. Keep pulsing. Keep pulsing. Keep pulsing. Keep pulsing. And there comes a point where it feels like you actually can't pulse anymore, where you can't. What the pulsing does is help you receive your life force. And it comes a point where it feels like you're so full of life force that you can't actually pulse anymore. And when you reach that point, and do push yourself, really filling yourself up as much as you can, you release your hands and you feel what happens is your life force energy comes into instant alignment. There is a rush of Kundalini. Just notice how you feel. Notice what you are experiencing. And my advice, if this practice made you feel good, is to do this practice as part of your daily practice. It will mean that your life force energy is getting charged. It will mean you'll be able to handle these feminine retrogrades and portals and be really ready for that crazy 31st astrological event that we don't know anything about. It will mean that you're really embodying more of your potential, more of your mystery, so that you can really align with that key. And also have lots of rest. Your trust gets cultivated when you rest. So make sure you rest. Make sure you listen. Remember to enjoy. It's a very sacred, very rare, very special month. I'm just checking in if my guides have anything else to say. And they're like, no, you did good. I said everything that needs to be said in Magic Month. And so, yeah, equally powerful for men and women. And so, just taking a moment to close your eyes. Feeling the violet and the rose flames coming through you, transmuting all energy that does not serve or belong into love and into light. If it is ready to be transmuted, feeling a golden rain shower of light coming down, taking any energy that's going to go to Gaia as an offering to Gaia. And a big beam of source light coming in, taking any energy that's going to go somewhere else, wherever it is in the highest good for it to go. Breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. Sending your love and gratitude to Gaia, to the planets and the asteroids that map on months for us. All of the feminine, all of the masculine, all of the union and all of the stillness. All of life. To all that is birthing, bridging and becoming. To each other. To all minerals, all plants, all animals, all of humankind. All of fire, all of earth, all of air, all of water. All of love, all of light, all of matter, all of mystery. All of source and all of self. That you send this love and gratitude in all directions. Connect again to what you feel. To what you intended. Noticing if you got your intention. I hope that you have a really amazing July. It's so sacred. You can click the find out more link to find out about anything. Put the Revive raffle up for you again. My request is that if Magic Month is helpful to you, please do share it so that it can help lots of other people. Also with the tiredness, I know so many people are really suffering with fatigue and all sorts of things at the moment. So if you know anybody that could help, let them know about it. This is the time to help each other. I had this really clear vision that like every time we help someone, that's how we rise. Is this like as we help each other, we rise. And so I hope that Magic Month was helpful to you. I love you all so much, and I hope with all my heart that you join some of the offerings that we have, if your heart calls, this July. If not, have the most magical, amazing, blessed, miracle-filled Ascension July. Rebirth. It's going to be amazing. Love you. Bye.